Control your mind before your mind controls your life. The quality of your world will never rise higher than the quality of your thinking. Everything changes the moment you realize one simple truth. Your greatest battle is not with other people. It is not with money, failure, or difficult situations. The real battle happens inside your own mind every single day. The thoughts you accept become your choices. Your choices become your habits. Your habits quietly build the life you live. Why do some people stay calm under pressure, while others give up? Why do some keep moving forward after failure, while others remain stuck for years? The answer is not talent, luck, or intelligence. The answer is learning how to take charge of your own mind before fear, doubt, and distraction take charge of you. In this audiobook, you will discover practical lessons that help you think clearly, make better decisions, build stronger discipline, stay focused, manage your emotions, and create habits that work in real life. Every chapter gives you simple actions you can use from today. No empty motivation, no complicated ideas, only practical wisdom that can change the way you think, act, and live. Your world will not change by chance. It will change the moment you learn to control the one thing that shapes everything else, your mind. Chapter 1. Awaken your mind to take control today. Your mind shapes the direction of your life before your actions ever begin. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your decisions, and your decisions create the results you experience every day. Taking control of your mind is the first step toward taking control of your world, because every change in your life begins with what happens inside your own thinking. Most people try to change their circumstances without understanding the source of their choices. They change jobs, change environments, change goals, and change routines, but they often carry the same patterns of thinking with them. A person can have a new situation and still create the same problems because the mind behind the actions has not improved. Your mind is not just a place where thoughts appear. It is a system that learns from your attention, your habits, your experiences, and your repeated choices. Every day you are teaching your mind what to focus on and what to ignore. The thoughts you repeat become easier to access, and the actions you repeat become easier to perform. A powerful life begins with awareness. Awareness means noticing what is happening inside your mind before you allow it to control your behavior. Many people react to life without understanding why they react that way. They become angry quickly, lose focus easily, worry about small problems, or delay important actions because they have never studied their own mental patterns. The first lesson in controlling your mind is learning to observe your thoughts. A thought is not always a fact. A thought is simply information passing through your mind. Some thoughts help you grow, and some thoughts hold you back. The person who learns to separate useful thoughts from harmful thoughts gains control over their actions. Start your day by creating a small moment of awareness before the world starts demanding your attention. Many people wake up and immediately check messages, news, and notifications. This allows outside information to influence their mood before they have chosen their own direction. A better approach is to spend the first few minutes of your day asking yourself what kind of person you want to be today. Your morning thoughts have a strong influence because your mind is more open after rest. The first information you consume often becomes the starting point for your emotional state. A person who begins the day with confusion often carries that confusion into their decisions. A person who begins the day with clarity creates a stronger foundation for action. One simple practice is to write down 3 things before starting your daily responsibilities. Write 1 important task you must complete. Write 1 quality you want to develop. Write 1 thought pattern you want to avoid. This practice trains your mind to move from automatic reaction into conscious choice. Control begins with noticing. You cannot improve something you refuse to see. A person who does not notice their habits will repeat them. A person who studies their habits can replace weak patterns with stronger ones. Personal growth starts when you become honest about the way your mind operates. Your mind collects experiences throughout your life. Every conversation, every failure, every success, and every challenge leaves an impression. However, the meaning you give to those experiences matters more than the experience itself. 2 people can face the same problem and create completely different futures because they interpret the situation differently. A mistake can become a lesson, or it can become a reason to quit. A difficult moment can become a training experience, or it can become proof that you are unable to succeed. The event is the same, but the mental response creates a different outcome. This is why controlling your mind is not about avoiding problems. It is about improving your response to problems. Many people underestimate the power of their internal conversation. The words you say to yourself every day influence your confidence, your effort, and your patience. A person who constantly tells themselves that they cannot improve will eventually act according to that belief. A person who trains themselves to look for solutions will develop a stronger approach to challenges. This does not mean pretending everything is easy. A controlled mind is not a mind that ignores reality. A controlled mind sees reality clearly and chooses a productive response. It allows you to admit difficulties while still believing that your actions can create progress. A practical exercise is to listen to your inner conversation for 1 full day. Notice the sentences you repeat in your mind. Notice how often you criticize yourself. Notice how often you focus on problems instead of possible solutions. Do not judge what you discover. Simply observe it, because awareness is the beginning of change. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you have. Whatever receives your attention grows stronger in your mind. A person who spends hours focusing on distractions trains their brain to seek distraction. A person who spends time learning, improving, and creating trains their brain to seek growth. Many people believe they lack discipline, but sometimes the real problem is uncontrolled attention. They are not unable to work. They are simply allowing too many things to compete for their focus. A distracted mind becomes tired because it constantly changes direction. A focused mind becomes stronger because it uses energy with purpose. Create simple boundaries around your attention. Decide specific times for important work. Reduce unnecessary notifications. Give yourself periods where you focus on one task without interruption. These small actions teach your mind that you are responsible for directing your energy. The modern world constantly competes for your thoughts. Every day you receive thousands of pieces of information from different sources. Without awareness, your mind becomes shaped by whatever receives the most attention. This is why protecting your attention is one of the most important skills for personal development. A person who controls their mind does not allow every opinion to control their emotions. They listen, learn, and consider different viewpoints, but they maintain responsibility for their own decisions. This ability creates emotional strength because your peace no longer depends completely on outside reactions. Another important step is understanding your triggers. A trigger is something that quickly creates an emotional reaction inside you. It may be criticism, failure, rejection, pressure, or uncertainty. Everyone has triggers, but successful people learn how to respond instead of reacting immediately. The space between a situation and your response is where personal power develops. A short pause can change the result of an entire conversation. Taking a moment to breathe, think, and choose your words allows your better judgment to lead. This small habit creates stronger relationships and better decisions. Practice creating a pause during emotional moments. When you feel frustration rising, do not immediately speak or act. Take a few seconds to identify what you are feeling and why you are feeling it. This simple process gives your logical mind time to participate before emotions take full control. Your emotions are valuable information, but they should not always become your instructions. Feeling afraid does not always mean you should stop. Feeling uncomfortable does not always mean you are making the wrong choice. Sometimes discomfort appears because you are growing beyond your old limits. A trained mind learns to respect emotions while still choosing actions based on values and goals. This is the difference between living by impulse and living with intention. Impulse follows the strongest feeling in the moment. Intention follows a clear direction even during difficult moments. Your daily habits reveal the condition of your mind. The way you spend your morning, the way you handle problems, the way you speak to yourself, and the way you use your time all show what your mind has been trained to do. Small habits create mental strength because they prove to yourself that you can keep promises. Make your bed. Complete an important task before entertainment. Read a few pages of a useful book. Exercise your body. Keep your environment organized. These actions may seem simple, but they build trust between your thoughts and your behavior. Many people search for a major life transformation while ignoring small daily improvements. Real change usually comes from repeated actions that seem ordinary. A stronger mind is developed through consistent practice, not through one powerful moment. Your mind becomes stronger every time you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you complete something you wanted to avoid, you teach yourself that you are capable. Every time you replace a negative reaction with a thoughtful response, you build control. The person who learns to guide their mind gains a powerful advantage in life. They do not depend only on motivation because they understand how to create systems that support progress. They know that success is not created by random moments of effort. It is created by daily choices repeated over time. Start becoming the person who directs your thoughts instead of being directed by them. Pay attention to what enters your mind. Choose what deserves your energy. Build habits that strengthen your character. Learn from your experiences instead of being controlled by them. A controlled mind does not create a perfect life. It creates a prepared person, a person who can face challenges with awareness, a person who can make better choices under pressure, a person who can continue moving forward because their thoughts support their goals instead of fighting against them. The moment you begin observing your mind with honesty and guiding it with discipline, you start changing the relationship between who you are today and who you can become tomorrow. Control begins with a single decision to become responsible for what happens inside your own mind. Chapter 2. Discover your hidden strength through self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to understand yourself clearly before trying to improve yourself. A person who knows their own thoughts, emotions, abilities, and weaknesses can make better choices in life. Your hidden strength is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you discover by paying attention to who you are and how you respond to the world around you. Many people spend years trying to become someone else because they have never taken time to understand themselves. They compare their progress with others, follow other people's goals, and measure their value through outside approval. This creates confusion because they are building a life without understanding the person who is building it. Self-awareness gives you a clear picture of your current position. Before you improve your skills, relationships, career, or habits, you need to understand your present condition. A person cannot create meaningful growth without knowing what needs to change and what strengths need to be developed. One of the most important skills in personal growth is learning to observe your own behavior. Pay attention to how you act during pressure. Notice how you respond when someone disagrees with you. Notice what situations make you lose focus and what activities increase your energy. These observations reveal important information about your personality and your patterns. Your reactions often reveal parts of yourself that you do not notice during normal situations. A person may believe they are patient until they face a stressful problem. Someone may believe they are confident until they experience criticism. Difficult moments often reveal areas where growth is needed. This is not a reason to judge yourself. It is an opportunity to understand yourself better. Awareness is not about finding faults and feeling disappointed. Awareness is about collecting information that helps you make better decisions. A wise person does not hide from weaknesses. They study them and improve them. A practical way to increase self-awareness is through daily reflection. At the end of each day, spend a few minutes reviewing your actions. Ask yourself what decision you handled well. Ask yourself where you reacted without thinking. Ask yourself what you learned about yourself. This simple practice creates a habit of personal evaluation. Most people review their day only by looking at what happened around them. They think about meetings, conversations, tasks, and problems. A more useful approach is to also study their internal experience. Understanding why you acted a certain way helps you make better choices in the future. Your emotions can teach you valuable lessons about yourself. Every emotion carries information. Frustration may show that something needs attention. Fear may show that you are facing uncertainty. Disappointment may show that something important matters to you. Learning to understand emotions helps you respond with wisdom instead of reacting without control. A strong person is not someone who never feels difficult emotions. A strong person is someone who understands those emotions and chooses a responsible action. Emotional awareness allows you to stay balanced because you recognize what is happening inside you before it affects your behavior. Your strengths are also hidden in your daily experiences. Many people overlook their abilities because they seem normal to them. You may be good at solving problems, listening to others, organizing tasks, learning quickly, or staying calm during difficult situations. These abilities can become powerful tools when you recognize and develop them. A useful exercise is to create a personal strength list. Write down moments when you performed well or helped someone successfully. Look for repeated patterns. The skills you use naturally may be the areas where you have the greatest potential. Strength becomes more valuable when you become aware of it and use it intentionally. Self-awareness also helps you understand your values. Values are the principles that guide your decisions. They influence what you consider important and what kind of life you want to create. Without clear values, people often make choices based on temporary emotions or outside pressure. Take time to identify what truly matters to you. Consider the qualities you respect in others. Consider the actions that make you feel proud of yourself. Consider the moments when you feel most satisfied. These clues help you understand the standards you want to live by. A person with strong self-awareness can recognize the difference between what they want and what others expect from them. Many people follow paths chosen by family, friends, or society without asking whether those paths match their own goals. Understanding yourself allows you to make decisions that are personally meaningful. Another important part of self-awareness is accepting responsibility. It means understanding that your choices influence your results. You cannot control every event in life, but you can control your preparation, your response, and your effort. People who avoid responsibility often search for reasons outside themselves. They blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for every difficulty. A self-aware person looks at the situation honestly and asks what they can improve. This mindset creates growth because it focuses energy on actions that can create change. Self-awareness also improves your relationships. When you understand your own emotions and communication style, you can interact with others more effectively. You become better at listening because you are not constantly defending your own position. You become more patient because you understand your own reactions. Many conflicts happen because people misunderstand themselves before they misunderstand others. A person who cannot identify their own frustration may blame another person for causing it. A person who understands their emotions can communicate clearly and solve problems more calmly. Your environment can also influence your level of self-awareness. Spend time with people and activities that encourage reflection and growth. Learn from experiences that challenge you. Pay attention to the situations where you feel most alive and focused. Your surroundings often provide clues about your natural abilities and interests. Another powerful practice is asking yourself better questions. The quality of your questions affects the quality of your thinking. Instead of asking why everything is difficult, ask what lesson this situation is teaching you. Instead of asking why you cannot succeed, ask what skill you need to develop. Better questions create better awareness. They move your mind from complaint toward improvement. They help you search for solutions instead of staying focused on problems. A person who learns to ask useful questions becomes better at handling challenges. Self-awareness requires honesty because growth cannot happen through denial. You need the courage to recognize areas where you need improvement. You also need the confidence to recognize the abilities you already possess. Both sides are important. Knowing your weaknesses keeps you humble. Knowing your strengths gives you direction. Every person has experiences that shape their beliefs and behaviors. Some beliefs help you move forward, while others may limit your progress. Examine the beliefs you carry about yourself. Ask whether they are based on reality or old experiences that no longer represent who you are today. A belief formed years ago does not have to control your future. People change through learning, practice, and consistent effort. Understanding your beliefs gives you the ability to replace outdated thinking with healthier and more useful perspectives. The journey of self-awareness is continuous because you continue changing throughout life. New experiences reveal new lessons about your character. New challenges show new abilities. Every stage of life provides another opportunity to understand yourself more deeply. The person who knows themselves well becomes harder to control through fear, pressure, or confusion. They understand their priorities. They recognize their abilities. They make decisions with greater confidence because those decisions come from a clear understanding of who they are. Discovering your hidden strength begins with paying attention. Listen to your thoughts, study your actions, learn from your emotions, recognize your abilities. Accept your areas for improvement. The more clearly you understand yourself, the more effectively you can direct your life toward meaningful progress. Self-awareness turns ordinary experiences into valuable lessons. It helps you become a student of your own life. When you understand yourself, you stop living randomly and start living with purpose, discipline, and greater control over the person you are becoming. Chapter 3. Choose your thoughts before they choose your direction. The thoughts you allow to stay in your mind influence the path you take every day. Your actions are not created suddenly. They are usually the result of repeated ideas, beliefs, and mental conversations that happen before you make a decision. Learning to choose your thoughts gives you the ability to choose your direction instead of moving through life based on automatic reactions. Every person experiences thousands of thoughts throughout the day. Some thoughts help you solve problems, create ideas, and improve your life. Other thoughts create doubt, distraction, and unnecessary fear. The important skill is not trying to stop every negative thought. The important skill is learning which thoughts deserve your attention and which thoughts should be replaced. Your mind naturally looks for patterns. It remembers experiences, connects information, and creates expectations about the future. This ability helps you make quick decisions, but it can also create problems when your mind repeats old assumptions without checking whether they are still true. A person who failed once may start believing they are not capable. A person who received criticism may begin avoiding opportunities. A person who experienced disappointment may expect every future attempt to end the same way. These thoughts can quietly influence choices until a person starts limiting their own possibilities. The first step in managing your thoughts is recognizing that your mind creates interpretations. A situation happens, and your mind creates a meaning about that situation. The meaning you create affects your emotions and actions. Learning this process gives you more control over your responses. For example, receiving negative feedback at work can create different reactions. One person may think, "I am not good enough," and lose confidence. Another person may think, "This information can help me improve," and use the feedback as a learning opportunity. The event is the same, but the thought process creates a different outcome. Your thoughts become stronger through repetition. A single thought may not change your life, but repeated thoughts can influence your identity. This is why it is important to be careful about the ideas you repeat about yourself. The sentences you constantly tell yourself become the standards you use to judge your abilities. Start noticing the phrases you use internally. Pay attention to how you describe yourself after mistakes. Notice whether you focus only on what went wrong or whether you search for what can be improved. Your internal language reveals the direction your mind is creating. A practical method is to create a mental check before accepting a thought as truth. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. Is this thought based on facts or fear? Does this thought help me take useful action? Would I speak to someone I care about the same way I speak to myself? These questions create distance between you and your automatic thinking. They help you examine your thoughts instead of immediately believing them. This small habit can improve decision-making because it allows wisdom to guide your actions. Many people underestimate how much their environment affects their thinking. The conversations you hear, the information you consume, and the people you spend time with can influence the ideas that become normal in your mind. Your surroundings constantly provide messages about what is possible and what is impossible. This does not mean avoiding every difficult conversation or only surrounding yourself with positive information. Growth requires learning from different perspectives. However, you should be aware of what repeatedly enters your mind, because repeated exposure often shapes your beliefs. Choose information that improves your understanding. Read material that develops your skills. Listen to people who encourage responsibility and learning. Spend time with individuals who challenge you to become better. Your mind develops according to what you consistently give it. Another important skill is controlling mental distractions. Many people lose valuable time because their attention moves from one thought to another without direction. They begin one task, remember another responsibility, check something unrelated, and slowly lose focus. A focused mind does not happen by accident. It is created through practice. Give full attention to one activity at a time. Complete important tasks before moving to less important activities. Train yourself to return to the present moment when your mind starts wandering. Your thoughts also influence your confidence. Confidence is not created only by success. It is built by the relationship you develop with yourself. When you consistently think in a responsible and constructive way, you create trust in your own ability to handle challenges. A person with healthy thinking does not expect every attempt to succeed. They understand that progress includes mistakes and adjustments. They focus on improving their process rather than judging their entire ability based on one result. The way you think before taking action often determines whether you begin or delay. Many opportunities are lost because people wait until they feel completely ready. They allow thoughts about failure or uncertainty to prevent them from taking the first step. A better approach is to train your mind to focus on preparation and progress. You do not need perfect confidence before starting. Confidence often grows after you take action and learn from the experience. Your thoughts also affect your emotional energy. Spending hours replaying past problems can drain your focus from present responsibilities. Learning from the past is useful, but living inside the past prevents you from creating something better today. Create a habit of asking yourself, "What can I do with what I have today?" This question directs your attention toward action. It reminds your mind that your current choices still have value, even when previous situations were difficult. Another powerful practice is mental replacement. When you notice an unhelpful thought, do not simply fight against it. Replace it with a more useful perspective. Instead of thinking, "I always fail," replace it with, "I have experienced difficulties, but I can learn and improve." This process does not require pretending everything is easy. It requires choosing thoughts that support growth. A realistic and useful thought creates better action than an exaggerated negative belief. Your mind needs training just like any other ability. Nobody becomes skilled at something without practice. The same principle applies to thinking. Each time you redirect your attention, question an assumption, or choose a better perspective, you strengthen your ability to guide your mind. The most successful people are not successful because they never experience negative thoughts. They succeed because they have learned how to manage those thoughts. They understand that every thought does not deserve attention, and every emotion does not require immediate action. A powerful life requires intentional thinking. Your goals, relationships, habits, and decisions are all affected by the thoughts you repeatedly choose. When your thinking becomes clearer, your actions become more focused, and your direction becomes easier to follow. Take responsibility for the mental space you create each day. Protect your attention. Examine your beliefs. Replace harmful patterns with useful ones. Give your mind ideas that encourage growth and discipline. The future you create will be influenced by the thoughts you practice today. Choose thoughts that help you become stronger, wiser, and more prepared. A person who learns to guide their thinking gains the ability to guide their actions and move toward a better life with greater confidence and purpose. Chapter 4. Break old patterns that limit your personal growth. Personal growth becomes possible when you learn to recognize the behaviors that keep you in the same place. Many people want better results, but continue following the same routines, reactions, and choices that created their current situation. Real change begins when you become aware of the patterns that no longer support the person you want to become. A pattern is a repeated way of thinking or acting that happens so often it feels natural. Some patterns help you improve, others quietly reduce your progress. The challenge is that limiting patterns often do not look harmful at first. They may appear as comfort, convenience, or simple habits, but over time they can prevent you from reaching your potential. People often believe major problems create the biggest limitations in life. However, small repeated behaviors usually have a stronger influence because they happen every day. Delaying important tasks, avoiding difficult conversations, spending too much time on distractions, or choosing comfort over improvement can slowly shape the direction of your life. The first step to breaking old patterns is identifying them clearly. You cannot change a behavior you do not recognize. Many people live with automatic routines because they rarely stop to examine why they do what they do. Take time to study your daily actions. Notice what you do when you feel pressure. Notice what you do when you have free time. Notice what choices you make when nobody is watching. These moments reveal your true habits because they show your natural responses. A useful exercise is to track one behavior you want to improve for 7 days. Do not try to change it immediately. Simply observe it. Write down when it happens, what caused it, and how you felt afterward. This creates awareness and helps you understand the reason behind the pattern. Most habits have a trigger, a behavior, and a result. A trigger starts the process. The behavior is the action you take. The result is the feeling or outcome you experience afterward. Understanding this process allows you to change the pattern instead of fighting against it blindly. For example, a person may feel stressed after a difficult day. The trigger is stress. The behavior may be spending hours watching unnecessary content. The result may be temporary relaxation, but later regret, because important tasks were ignored. Once the pattern is visible, a better response can be created. Changing a habit does not always require removing something completely. Often, it requires replacing an old response with a healthier one. Instead of using distraction to escape stress, a person can take a short walk, organize their thoughts, or complete a small productive task. Your brain prefers familiar actions because they require less effort. This is why old habits can continue even when you know they are not helping you. Familiar does not always mean useful. A behavior can feel comfortable and still prevent progress. Growth requires becoming comfortable with doing things differently. This does not mean making extreme changes overnight. Small adjustments repeated consistently create stronger results than temporary bursts of effort. Many people fail to change because they depend only on motivation. Motivation changes from day to day. A better approach is creating systems that make positive actions easier to repeat. Design your environment so that the behaviors you want become more convenient. For example, if you want to read more, keep useful books where you can easily see them. If you want to exercise regularly, prepare your equipment before you need it. If you want to reduce distractions, remove unnecessary triggers from your surroundings. Your environment influences your behavior more than many people realize. The things around you constantly remind your mind what actions are available. A person trying to develop better habits should make positive choices easier and negative choices harder. Another important step is changing the beliefs connected to old patterns. Many behaviors continue because of hidden beliefs. A person may avoid learning a new skill because they believe they are not naturally talented. A person may avoid taking responsibility because they believe mistakes define their ability. These beliefs create invisible limits. They influence choices before action even begins. To change the behavior, you often need to challenge the belief supporting it. Ask yourself where a belief came from. Ask whether it is based on current reality or an old experience. Ask whether it helps you become stronger or keeps you avoiding growth. These questions help you separate useful beliefs from limiting ones. Personal growth requires accepting that your previous way of living may not be enough for your future goals. This does not mean your past choices were worthless. Every experience provides information. However, holding on to old methods after they stop working can prevent improvement. Successful people regularly review their habits and strategies. They understand that what worked in one stage of life may not work in another. They adjust their approach based on new goals, new responsibilities, and new knowledge. One of the strongest patterns to break is the habit of waiting for the perfect moment. Many people delay improvement because they believe they need more time, more confidence, or better conditions before beginning. Progress usually starts with imperfect action. You learn by doing. You improve through experience. Waiting too long often creates more fear because the task becomes larger in your mind than it actually is. Create a practice of taking small actions quickly. Send the message you have been delaying. Start the project you keep planning. Spend 10 minutes learning something useful. Small actions weaken the habit of avoidance and strengthen the habit of movement. Another limiting pattern is seeking constant approval from others. A person who depends too much on outside opinions may avoid choices that support their own growth. They may choose comfort because they fear criticism or rejection. Learning to trust your judgment is an important part of maturity. Listen to advice from people you respect, but remember that you are responsible for your own direction. Personal growth requires making choices based on your values and goals. Breaking old patterns also requires patience. A habit created over years usually does not disappear in a few days. Many people quit because change feels slow. They forget that consistency creates transformation. Measure progress by improvement rather than perfection. A small step forward is still evidence that change is happening. The goal is not to become a completely different person overnight. The goal is to become a better version of yourself through repeated choices. Your identity changes through your actions. Every time you choose discipline instead of avoidance, responsibility instead of excuses, and growth instead of comfort, you strengthen a new version of yourself. The person you become is shaped by the patterns you repeat. This means you have the ability to influence your future by changing what you practice today. You are not required to remain controlled by habits that no longer match your goals. Start examining the routines that control your days. Replace behaviors that weaken your progress. Build actions that support your future. Give yourself the opportunity to grow beyond the limits created by old patterns. A better life is created through better choices, repeated consistently. The moment you decide to stop following automatic behaviors and start choosing with awareness, you begin creating a new direction for your personal growth. Chapter 5. Build mental discipline through small daily actions. Mental discipline is the ability to do what is necessary even when your feelings change. It is the skill of directing your actions according to your goals instead of allowing temporary emotions to decide your behavior. A disciplined mind is not created through one powerful decision. It is developed through small choices, repeated consistently throughout ordinary days. Many people misunderstand discipline because they connect it only with extreme effort. They believe disciplined people are always motivated, always focused, and never struggle. The reality is different. Discipline is built when a person learns how to continue making useful choices during normal moments, when excitement is low and progress feels slow. Your daily actions are training your mind. Every time you complete a responsibility, keep a promise to yourself, or choose a useful action over an easy distraction, you strengthen your ability to lead yourself. These small decisions may seem insignificant, but they create the mental strength needed for larger challenges. A person who wants stronger discipline should start by becoming reliable with small commitments. Many people make large promises about changing their lives, but struggle to complete simple tasks. The problem is not a lack of dreams. The problem is a lack of trust in their own ability to follow through. Self-trust grows when your actions match your decisions. When you decide to wake up at a certain time and actually do it, you create evidence that you can depend on yourself. When you choose to complete a task and finish it, you strengthen your confidence in your own discipline. Start with one small daily action that requires commitment. It could be spending 15 minutes learning a skill, organizing your workspace, exercising, planning your day, or completing an important task before entertainment. The size of the action matters less than the consistency of completing it. Small actions are powerful because they reduce resistance. When a task feels too large, the mind often searches for reasons to avoid it. A simple action feels easier to begin, and beginning creates movement. Once movement starts, continuing becomes easier. A useful principle of discipline is to focus on repetition rather than intensity. Doing something useful every day creates stronger results than doing something difficult once and stopping. A person who practices a small positive habit regularly will usually outperform someone who depends on occasional bursts of motivation. Your brain learns from repetition. Each repeated action creates a stronger connection between a decision and a behavior. This means every time you practice discipline, you make future discipline easier. You are not only completing a task, you are training your mind to respond differently. One practical method is creating clear rules for yourself. Rules remove unnecessary decisions. For example, decide that you will review your goals every morning, prepare tomorrow's tasks every evening, or complete your most important responsibility before checking entertainment. Simple personal rules reduce confusion and protect your priorities. Without clear standards, people often make decisions based on their current mood. A tired person may avoid important work. A distracted person may waste valuable time. A frustrated person may quit too early. Discipline provides a structure that helps you continue even when emotions are changing. This does not mean ignoring your feelings. Your emotions provide useful information. They can show when you need rest, adjustment, or support. However, emotions should be considered, not allowed to control every decision. A disciplined person listens to feelings but chooses actions based on long-term goals. One of the biggest enemies of discipline is immediate comfort. The human mind naturally prefers actions that provide quick rewards. Watching entertainment, avoiding difficult tasks, and choosing convenience can feel good in the moment. However, repeated choices based only on immediate comfort can create problems later. Mental discipline requires learning to consider future results. Before making a decision, ask yourself how this choice will affect your future self. Will this action make tomorrow easier or harder? Will it move you closer to your goals or create more problems? This simple question creates better awareness. It helps you think beyond the present moment and make decisions with greater responsibility. Strong discipline comes from understanding that your choices today create the conditions you experience later. Another important part of discipline is controlling your schedule. Many people believe they need more time, but often they need better management of the time they already have. Without planning, important tasks compete with distractions and often lose. Create a simple daily structure. Identify your most important tasks. Decide when you will complete them. Leave space for rest and unexpected situations. A realistic schedule helps your mind understand what deserves attention. Discipline also improves when you reduce unnecessary decisions. Every decision requires mental energy. When you create routines for important activities, you save energy for more meaningful choices. This is why successful people often have simple systems for their daily responsibilities. Your physical habits also influence mental discipline. Sleep, movement, nutrition, and your environment affect your ability to focus and make decisions. A tired mind has less control over impulses. A healthy routine supports better thinking and stronger self-management. Taking care of your body is not separate from developing your mind. Your physical condition affects your mental performance. When you respect your health, you create a stronger foundation for discipline in every area of life. Another way to develop discipline is learning how to finish what you start. Many people collect unfinished tasks because they constantly move towards something new before completing what matters. This creates mental stress and reduces confidence. Practice completion. choose fewer important tasks, and finish them properly. Each completed responsibility gives your mind proof that you can create results through consistent effort. Discipline also grows through handling discomfort. Growth often requires doing things that feel difficult at first. Learning a new skill, improving your habits, or changing your behavior can feel uncomfortable because your mind prefers familiar routines. Instead of avoiding discomfort completely, learn to manage it. Start with small challenges. Do something slightly difficult each day. These experiences teach your mind that discomfort is temporary and progress is possible. A person with strong discipline does not need perfect conditions to take action. They understand that waiting for the right mood can create delay. They create action first, and motivation often follows after progress begins. There will be days when you perform better than others. There will be moments when your energy is lower and your progress feels slower. Discipline means continuing the process without allowing one difficult day to become a reason to stop. The goal is not to control every detail of life. The goal is to become someone who can control their own choices. A disciplined person can adjust, learn, and continue moving forward despite challenges. Your future is influenced by what you repeatedly do in private moments. The small actions nobody sees often create the biggest changes. The decision to read instead of waste time, prepare instead of delay, and complete instead of avoid builds the character required for long-term success. Build your discipline one action at a time. Keep small promises, create useful routines, protect your attention, complete meaningful tasks. Every day gives you another opportunity to strengthen your mind through choices that support the person you want to become. Mental discipline is not created by waiting for a better version of yourself to appear. It is created by practicing better actions until they become part of who you are. Small daily actions become the foundation of a stronger mind and a more purposeful life. Chapter 6. Strengthen your focus to master your attention. Focus is the ability to direct your mental energy toward what matters, instead of allowing everything around you to control your attention. In a world filled with constant information, notifications, and distractions, the ability to concentrate has become one of the most valuable skills for personal growth. A focused mind can learn faster, work better, and make clearer decisions. Many people believe they have a time problem when they actually have an attention problem. They have enough hours in the day, but their attention is divided across too many things. They start tasks without finishing them, switch between activities repeatedly, and lose energy because their mind is always moving in different directions. Your attention determines what receives your effort. Whatever you consistently focus on becomes stronger in your life. A person who focuses on improvement searches for opportunities to learn. A person who focuses only on problems often finds more reasons to feel limited. The direction of your attention influences the direction of your progress. The first step towards stronger focus is understanding where your attention goes each day. Most people can describe their responsibilities, but they cannot clearly explain how they spend their mental energy. They know what they want to achieve, yet they allow small distractions to take control of their time. Begin by observing your attention for 1 week. Notice what interrupts your work. Notice which activities consume more time than expected. Notice when your mind feels most active and when your concentration becomes weaker. This observation gives you valuable information about your personal focus patterns. Focus improves when you become intentional about what deserves your energy. Not every task has the same importance. Not every request requires an immediate response. A person who treats everything as urgent often loses the ability to complete what truly matters. Create a habit of identifying your highest priority each day. Choose the task that creates the greatest progress and give it your strongest attention. Completing meaningful work before smaller activities helps your mind develop a sense of control and direction. One reason people struggle with focus is constant switching. Moving from one task to another may feel productive, but frequent switching creates mental pressure. Your brain needs time to adjust between different activities. Each switch requires attention, and too many switches reduce the quality of your work. Practice single tasking. Give one activity your complete attention for a specific period of time. Remove unnecessary interruptions. Focus only on the task in front of you. This trains your mind to stay with one responsibility instead of searching for something new. A simple method is to work in focused periods. Choose a realistic amount of time where you commit to one task without distractions. After completing that period, take a short break and return with renewed attention. This approach helps your mind build concentration gradually. Your environment plays an important role in your ability to focus. A crowded workspace, constant alerts, and easy access to distractions make concentration harder. Your surroundings send signals to your brain about what deserves attention. Design your environment to support your goals. Keep important tools available. Remove unnecessary distractions. Create a space where your mind understands that focused work is expected. Small environmental changes can make disciplined behavior easier. Another important part of focus is learning how to manage mental noise. Sometimes distractions do not come from outside. They come from unfinished tasks, worries, and repeated thoughts inside your own mind. A useful practice is writing down thoughts that interrupt you. When you remember something important during a task, record it and return to your work. This allows your mind to stop holding on to every detail while still respecting the information. Your mind becomes calmer when it trusts your system. If you have a reliable way to organize responsibilities, your brain does not need to constantly remind you about everything. This creates more space for concentration. Focus also depends on your ability to say no. Every yes requires time and attention. Many people lose their priorities because they accept too many commitments without considering the effect on their goals. Learning to say no is not about rejecting people. It is about protecting your ability to complete what matters. A person who respects their attention understands that every unnecessary commitment can reduce their ability to perform important work. Your attention is also influenced by your physical condition. Lack of sleep, poor health habits, and constant stress can reduce your ability to concentrate. A tired mind searches for easier activities because focused work requires energy. Support your focus by taking care of basic needs. Sleep enough. Move your body regularly. Take breaks when needed. These habits are not separate from productivity because they directly affect your mental performance. Another powerful way to improve focus is connecting daily actions with a meaningful reason. People often struggle to concentrate on tasks they do not understand. When you know why something matters, your mind gives it more importance. Before starting a task, remind yourself of its purpose. Understand how this action connects to your larger goals. A clear reason creates stronger commitment and helps you continue when the task becomes challenging. Focus is not only about concentration during work, it also affects conversations, relationships, and personal growth. A person who gives full attention to others creates stronger connections. A person who listens carefully learns more and understands situations better. Practice being fully present during simple moments. When someone is speaking, listen without preparing your response immediately. When you are learning, avoid checking unrelated information. When you are resting, allow yourself to rest without constantly searching for stimulation. Many people have trained their minds to seek constant entertainment. Every quiet moment becomes a reason to check something. Over time, this reduces the ability to remain still and think deeply. Train your attention by creating moments without unnecessary stimulation. Spend time walking, reflecting, reading, or simply allowing your mind to process experiences. These moments strengthen your ability to focus because they teach your brain that it does not need constant external input. A focused person does not have a special brain. They have developed better habits around their attention. They understand that concentration is a skill that improves through practice. Every time you return your attention to the task after distraction, you strengthen your ability to focus. Every time you complete important work without interruption, you build mental endurance. Progress comes from repeated practice, not instant perfection. Your attention is one of the main tools you use to create your future. The skills you develop, the relationships you build, and the goals you achieve all depend on where you direct your mental energy. Protect your attention like something valuable because it is connected to your growth. Choose what deserves your focus. Create systems that support concentration. Remove unnecessary distractions that weaken your progress. A person who masters their attention becomes more effective in every area of life. They waste less energy, make better decisions, and create stronger results. The ability to focus gives you control over your effort, and control over your effort gives you the ability to create meaningful change. Chapter 7. Balance your emotions during life's hard moments. Emotional balance is the ability to remain clear and responsible when life creates pressure, uncertainty, or disappointment. Difficult moments are part of every person's journey, but the way you handle those moments determines the quality of your decisions. A calm mind can see options that an overwhelmed mind often misses. Many people believe emotional strength means never feeling upset, afraid, or disappointed. This understanding creates unnecessary pressure because emotions are a natural part of being human. Real emotional strength comes from understanding what you feel and choosing a thoughtful response instead of allowing emotions to control your actions. Every emotion carries information. Anger may show that something important has been affected. Fear may show that you are facing uncertainty. Sadness may show that you experienced a meaningful loss or change. The goal is not to remove emotions, but to understand what they are communicating. A person who ignores emotions often allows them to become stronger over time. Unmanaged emotions can influence decisions, damage relationships, and create unnecessary stress. Learning to recognize emotions early gives you the opportunity to handle them before they control your behavior. The first step toward emotional balance is naming what you feel. Many people experience strong emotions but cannot clearly describe them. They simply say they feel bad, stressed, or frustrated. However, identifying the exact emotion creates clarity. There is a difference between feeling disappointed and feeling rejected. There is a difference between feeling tired and feeling overwhelmed. When you identify the specific emotion, you understand the situation better and can choose a more useful response. Create a habit of checking your emotional state during the day. Ask yourself what you are feeling and what caused it. This simple practice helps you become more aware of your inner condition instead of allowing emotions to build without attention. One of the biggest mistakes people make during difficult moments is reacting immediately. Strong emotions create a desire for instant action. You may want to send an angry message, make a quick decision, or say something you later regret. A short pause can protect you from unnecessary problems. Before responding during an emotional moment, give yourself time to process what is happening. Take a few deep breaths. Step away from the situation if possible. Allow your mind to become calmer before choosing your next action. This pause is not weakness. It is a sign of self-control. Anyone can react quickly, but it takes discipline to create space between a feeling and a response. That space allows your better judgment to participate. Hard moments often feel more difficult because the mind focuses only on the immediate problem. During stress, people sometimes forget that situations can change. They believe the current difficulty represents their entire future. A balanced mind learns to separate the present moment from the bigger picture. A difficult day does not define your entire life. A mistake does not define your entire ability. A challenge does not remove your ability to improve. This perspective helps you respond with patience. Instead of asking why everything is going wrong, ask what action can improve the situation. Instead of focusing only on what you cannot control, focus on what you can influence. Emotional balance also requires understanding your personal triggers. Certain situations may create stronger reactions because of past experiences, personal beliefs, or expectations. Knowing these triggers helps you prepare before difficult moments happen. For example, someone may become defensive whenever they receive criticism because they connect feedback with personal failure. Another person may avoid challenges because previous mistakes created fear. Understanding the reason behind these reactions allows you to create healthier responses. Keep a record of situations that create strong emotional reactions. Write down what happened, what you felt, and how you responded. Over time, patterns become visible. This information helps you understand yourself and improve your emotional control. Another important skill is managing negative self-talk during difficult situations. Stress often creates harsh internal conversations. People may blame themselves, assume the worst, or focus only on mistakes. A healthier approach is speaking to yourself with honesty and respect. This does not mean ignoring problems. It means recognizing the situation clearly while maintaining the belief that improvement is possible. The way you speak to yourself affects how you handle challenges. A person who constantly attacks themselves creates more stress during difficult moments. A person who encourages responsible improvement creates a stronger mental environment. Emotional balance also improves when you develop healthy ways to release stress. Holding every problem inside creates mental pressure. Find constructive methods that help you process emotions, such as writing, physical activity, meaningful conversations, or quiet reflection. The goal is not to escape emotions. The goal is to process them properly. Avoiding feelings often increases their influence. Understanding them reduces their power. Relationships also require emotional balance. Many conflicts are not caused only by the original problem. They become worse because people respond from anger, pride, or frustration. Learning to communicate calmly can prevent small issues from becoming larger problems. Before having an important conversation, understand your goal. Do you want to solve a problem, express a concern, or simply release frustration? Knowing your purpose helps you communicate with greater control. Listen carefully before responding. A calm person does not only control their own emotions, they also create space to understand another person's perspective. This ability improves trust and cooperation. Difficult moments can also reveal personal strength. Challenges show you abilities that may remain hidden during comfortable periods. A person may discover patience, courage, creativity, or determination only after facing pressure. This does not mean searching for problems. It means recognizing that challenges can provide valuable lessons. Every difficult experience can teach you something about your character and your ability to adapt. Emotional balance grows through practice. You become better by handling one difficult moment at a time. Each time you respond calmly under pressure, you strengthen your ability to manage future challenges. Do not measure your emotional growth by whether you never struggle. Measure it by how quickly you recover, how wisely you respond, and how much you learn from each experience. A person with emotional control does not have an easy life. They have a better relationship with difficulty. They understand that problems are temporary situations that require thoughtful responses. Build emotional strength by slowing down before reacting. Understand your feelings instead of fearing them. Learn from your reactions. Choose responses that protect your goals and your relationships. Life will continue to bring unexpected situations. There will be moments of pressure, disappointment, and uncertainty. Your ability to remain balanced during those moments will influence the choices you make and the person you become. Emotional control gives you the ability to stay steady while facing change. It allows you to think clearly, act wisely, and continue improving even when circumstances are not easy. A balanced mind becomes a source of strength that helps you handle life with greater confidence and maturity. Chapter 8. Improve your decisions by understanding your mind. Every result in your life is connected to the decisions you make each day. The choices you make about your time, relationships, work, health, and personal growth slowly create the direction of your future. Improving your decisions begins with understanding how your mind works, because better choices come from better awareness. Many people believe decisions are only based on logic, but human choices are influenced by many factors. Your experiences, emotions, habits, beliefs, and current situation all affect the way you see options. When you understand these influences, you become more capable of making choices that support your goals. The mind often tries to make decisions quickly because speed can be useful. Quick decisions help you handle simple situations without wasting energy. However, important decisions require more attention because the consequences can affect your future. A person who understands their mind learns when to slow down. They know that not every choice should be made immediately. Some decisions require time, information, and careful thinking. Taking time to evaluate an important choice is not hesitation. It is responsible thinking. One common mistake people make is deciding based only on their current emotions. Strong feelings can influence how you view a situation. When you feel angry, you may focus only on what went wrong. When you feel afraid, you may focus only on possible risks. When you feel excited, you may ignore important details. Emotions are useful, but they should not be the only guide for major decisions. A wise approach is to recognize your emotions and then examine the situation with a calm mind. This allows both feelings and reasoning to contribute to your choice. Before making an important decision, ask yourself what information you actually have. Many poor choices happen because people make assumptions without checking the facts. The mind often fills missing information with guesses, and those guesses may not represent reality. Develop the habit of separating facts from interpretations. A fact is something that can be observed or confirmed. An interpretation is the meaning you create from that fact. Understanding this difference helps you avoid making decisions based on incomplete thinking. For example, a person may receive a short message from someone and assume the person is angry. The fact is only that the message was short. The belief that the person is upset is an interpretation. Creating this separation prevents unnecessary reactions. Another important part of decision-making is understanding your priorities. Many people make choices without knowing what matters most to them. Without clear priorities, small problems often receive more attention than important goals. Take time to define what deserves your energy. Decide what areas of life require your focus. When your priorities are clear, decisions become easier because you have a standard for evaluating choices. Your future goals should influence your present decisions. A choice that feels comfortable today may create difficulties later. A choice that requires effort today may create better opportunities in the future. Strong decision-makers consider both immediate effects and long-term results. This does not mean ignoring the present. It means creating balance between today and tomorrow. A healthy decision considers your current needs while also respecting the person you want to become. Your past experiences also influence your choices. Previous successes can create confidence, while previous failures can create caution. Both can be useful, but problems occur when past experiences control every future decision. A person who failed in the past may avoid new opportunities because they expect the same result. A person who succeeded before may become overconfident and ignore new challenges. Learning from the past is valuable, but allowing the past to control every choice limits growth. Review your previous decisions as a student, not as a critic. Ask what worked, what failed, and what you would do differently with your current knowledge. This approach turns experience into wisdom. Another way to improve decisions is understanding the influence of habits. Many daily choices happen automatically. The routines you repeat create shortcuts in your thinking. These shortcuts save energy but can become harmful if they lead you toward poor results. Become aware of decisions you make without thinking. Notice how you spend your free time. Notice how you respond to stress. Notice which choices happen automatically. Awareness allows you to create new responses. A powerful decision-making habit is considering alternatives. Many people see only two options. They think they must either continue a situation or completely leave it. However, creative thinking often reveals additional choices. Train yourself to ask, what other options exist? This question expands your thinking. It encourages your mind to search for solutions instead of accepting the first idea that appears. Good decisions also require patience. Some people rush because they want immediate certainty. They want to remove all doubt before moving forward. However, many important decisions involve some level of uncertainty. The goal is not to eliminate all uncertainty. The goal is to gather enough information, consider possible outcomes, and make the best choice available. Waiting forever for perfect certainty can become another form of avoidance. Another valuable skill is learning from other people's experiences. You do not need to make every mistake personally to gain knowledge. Books, mentors, conversations, and observations can provide lessons that improve your judgment. Study how successful people think. Understand the reasons behind their decisions. Look beyond the results and examine the process that created those results. This develops your ability to make thoughtful choices. Your decision-making ability improves when you create a habit of reflection. After important choices, review the outcome. Ask what you learned. Ask what information you missed. Ask how you can improve your process next time. This reflection creates a cycle of improvement. Each decision becomes a learning experience. Over time, your judgment becomes stronger because you are constantly improving your ability to evaluate situations. A person with strong decision-making skills does not always choose perfectly. Everyone makes mistakes. The difference is that wise people learn from mistakes instead of repeating them without awareness. Your decisions reveal your values, your priorities, and your level of self-understanding. Every choice is an opportunity to practice responsibility. The more carefully you think, the more intentionally you create your future. Understand your mind before making important decisions. Notice your emotions, examine your assumptions, consider your options, think about long-term effects, learn from your experiences. A better life is created through better choices repeated over time. When you understand the way your mind influences decisions, you gain the ability to choose with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose. Your mind becomes a tool that supports your growth instead of a force that controls your direction. Chapter 9. Create a powerful mindset for lasting change. Lasting change begins with the way you view yourself and your ability to improve. A person can change their environment, create new plans, and set new goals, but without a mindset that supports growth, old behaviors often return. Your mindset influences what you believe is possible, how you respond to challenges, and whether you continue moving forward when progress becomes difficult. A mindset is not simply a positive attitude. It is the collection of beliefs, expectations, and mental habits that influence your actions. It affects how you interpret experiences and how you respond to opportunities. Two people can face the same situation and create different results because they approach it with different ways of thinking. A powerful mindset does not mean believing that everything will always be easy. It means understanding that your abilities can develop through learning, practice, and consistent effort. It allows you to see challenges as situations that require improvement instead of proof that you cannot succeed. Many people limit themselves because they create fixed opinions about who they are. They say things like, "This is just how I am," or "I have never been good at that." These statements may seem harmless, but repeated beliefs can prevent people from exploring their potential. The human mind adapts through experience. Skills improve through repetition. Confidence develops through action. The person you are today is not the final version of who you can become. Your future depends on the choices and behaviors you continue to practice. A strong mindset begins with taking responsibility for your growth. This means accepting that improvement requires your participation. Other people can support you, teach you, and encourage you, but your daily choices determine the direction of your progress. One of the most important mindset shifts is moving from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" toward asking, "What can I learn from this situation?" The first question often creates helplessness. The second question creates awareness and action. Challenges become easier to handle when you search for lessons instead of only focusing on problems. A difficult experience can teach you patience. A mistake can reveal a skill that needs improvement. A setback can show you where your preparation needs to become stronger. A powerful mindset also requires changing your relationship with failure. Many people see failure as evidence that they should stop. They believe unsuccessful results mean they are not capable. This belief prevents learning because it turns a temporary result into a permanent identity. A healthier approach is viewing failure as feedback. A failed attempt provides information. It shows what needs adjustment, what needs more practice, and what strategy may need to change. This perspective allows you to improve instead of becoming discouraged. The way you respond after mistakes determines your future progress. A person who studies their errors becomes wiser. A person who hides from errors loses valuable opportunities to grow. Improvement requires honesty because you cannot fix what you refuse to examine. Another important part of a strong mindset is patience with the process. Many people want immediate results and become frustrated when change takes time. They forget that meaningful improvement is usually created through repeated actions over a long period. A person building a new skill may not notice improvement every day, but consistent practice creates development. A person creating better habits may experience difficult days, but continued effort creates a new standard of behavior. Do not measure your growth only by major achievements. Pay attention to small improvements. Notice when you handle situations better than before. Notice when you make wiser choices. Notice when you recover faster from difficulties. These small signs show that change is happening. Your mindset is also influenced by the questions you ask yourself. The questions in your mind guide your attention. A person who constantly asks why they are unlucky will search for evidence of problems. A person who asks how they can improve will search for solutions. Train yourself to ask questions that create progress. What skill do I need to develop? What action can I take today? What lesson can I apply from this experience? These questions encourage responsibility and forward movement. Another powerful mindset principle is focusing on what you can control. Many people waste mental energy worrying about things outside their influence. They focus on other people's opinions, past events, or future possibilities they cannot predict. A stronger approach is directing attention toward your actions. You can control your preparation. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude and your willingness to learn. Focusing on these areas creates a greater sense of personal power. A growth mindset also requires being willing to change your opinions. Learning does not happen when you believe you already know everything. The strongest learners remain open to new information and different perspectives. This does not mean accepting every idea without thought. It means being willing to examine information and adjust your understanding when better knowledge becomes available. Flexibility allows you to continue developing throughout life. Your daily environment also affects your mindset. The people you spend time with, the information you consume, and the conversations you repeat all influence your thinking. A person who wants lasting change should create an environment that supports improvement. Choose influences that encourage learning and responsibility. Spend time with people who challenge you to grow. Consume information that expands your understanding. Your mind develops according to what you repeatedly expose it to. A powerful mindset also includes emotional responsibility. Your feelings matter, but they should not decide every action. There will be days when you feel tired, uncertain, or unmotivated. A strong mindset helps you continue doing what matters, even during those moments. Consistency creates identity. Every time you act according to your goals, you strengthen the belief that you are capable. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you build confidence based on evidence. Many people wait to feel confident before taking action. However, confidence often comes after action. When you practice, improve, and overcome small challenges, your mind collects proof that you can handle difficult situations. Create a habit of keeping promises to yourself. These promises do not need to be dramatic. They can be simple commitments such as completing a task, practicing a skill, or dedicating time to personal improvement. A strong mindset is built through daily reinforcement. The way you think in ordinary moments prepares you for difficult moments. The habits you practice today influence the person you become tomorrow. Lasting change requires more than temporary excitement. It requires a mental foundation that supports consistent action. When your mindset becomes stronger, challenges become opportunities to learn, mistakes become sources of improvement, and goals become responsibilities you are willing to pursue. Develop thoughts that support growth. Choose beliefs that encourage progress. Build habits that strengthen your confidence. Continue learning from every experience. The person who creates a powerful mindset gains the ability to change from the inside first. Once your thinking supports your goals, your actions become more consistent and your results begin to reflect the person you are working to become. Chapter 10. Transform your life by leading yourself first. The greatest responsibility you have in life is learning how to lead yourself. Before you can influence your environment, support others, or create meaningful results, you must first learn how to manage your own thoughts, actions, and choices. Self-leadership is the foundation of personal growth, because your life is shaped by the standards you create for yourself. Many people want better opportunities, stronger relationships, and greater success, but they forget that external improvement begins with internal responsibility. The way you handle your own life determines the level of trust you build with yourself and others. A person who cannot guide their own actions will struggle to create consistent progress. Leading yourself means becoming responsible for the direction of your life. It means making decisions based on your values instead of simply following circumstances. It means choosing actions that support your future even when easier choices are available. A self-led person does not wait for someone else to create change for them. They understand that their daily choices have power. They do not need perfect conditions before taking action. They begin with what they have and improve through experience. The first step in leading yourself is creating a clear personal standard. Many people live without deciding what kind of person they want to become. Without clear standards, behavior often depends on mood, pressure, or outside influence. Define the qualities you want to develop. Decide how you want to handle challenges. Decide how you want to treat people. Decide what habits represent the person you want to become. These standards become a guide for your daily decisions. A strong leader of self understands that discipline is a form of respect. When you complete important responsibilities, you are showing respect for your goals. When you take care of your health, you are showing respect for your future. When you continue learning, you are showing respect for your potential. Many people associate leadership with controlling others, but true leadership begins with personal example. The person who manages their own behavior creates influence naturally. People trust those who demonstrate responsibility, consistency, and honesty. Self-leadership requires awareness of your choices. Every day you are making decisions about how you spend your time, what you focus on, and what actions you take. These decisions may appear small, but they create the direction of your life. A useful practice is reviewing your choices regularly. At the end of each week, examine your actions. Ask yourself what choices helped you grow. Ask yourself what choices created unnecessary problems. Ask yourself what adjustment can improve your next week. This review process prevents you from living on automatic. It allows you to learn from your own experiences and make better decisions over time. Leading yourself also requires managing your responsibilities. A person who avoids responsibilities creates stress because unfinished tasks continue occupying mental space. Completing responsibilities creates confidence and reduces unnecessary pressure. Start by identifying the areas where you need more ownership. It may be your health, finances, relationships, skills, or personal commitments. Choose one area and take a clear action to improve it. Responsibility grows through practice. You do not become more responsible by simply wanting to change. You become responsible by repeatedly choosing actions that match your goals. Another important part of self-leadership is keeping your promises to yourself. Many people make commitments but do not follow through. Over time, this weakens their confidence because their mind learns that their decisions are not reliable. Build trust with yourself through consistency. Make realistic commitments and complete them. Start small, but take your commitments seriously. Every completed promise strengthens your belief that you can depend on yourself. A person who leads themselves also understands the importance of continuous learning. The world changes constantly, and personal growth requires the willingness to improve. The person who stops learning limits their future opportunities. Read, study, practice, and seek knowledge from valuable sources. Learn from people who have experience. Observe successful methods and adapt them to your own situation. Growth requires curiosity because improvement begins with understanding. Self-leadership also involves controlling your reactions. Life will bring unexpected events, difficult people, and uncertain situations. You cannot control every event, but you can control the way you respond. A leader of self does not allow every problem to steal their focus. They evaluate situations calmly and decide what action creates the best result. This ability protects your energy and helps you handle challenges more effectively. Another important lesson is understanding that your example affects others. Your behavior communicates messages even when you do not speak. The way you handle pressure, mistakes, and responsibilities influences the people around you. When you become more disciplined, patient, and responsible, you create a positive effect on your relationships. People often learn more from what they observe than from what they hear. Leading yourself also means protecting your priorities. Many people lose direction because they allow every demand to control their schedule. They become busy but not productive because their actions are not connected to their important goals. Create time for what matters most. Protect your learning. Protect your health. Protect your important relationships. Protect the activities that move you toward your goals. A person who leads themselves understands that saying no is sometimes necessary. Every unnecessary commitment can reduce your ability to give your best effort to important responsibilities. Clear priorities create a more focused and meaningful life. Self-leadership requires courage because improvement often requires uncomfortable choices. You may need to admit mistakes. You may need to change old habits. You may need to leave situations that no longer support your growth. Growth is not always comfortable, but avoiding change creates a different kind of difficulty. A person who refuses to improve eventually experiences the consequences of staying the same. Create a habit of asking yourself what your future self would appreciate. This question helps you make decisions beyond temporary feelings. It encourages actions that create long-term benefits. Your future is created through the choices you make repeatedly. The person you become is shaped by your standards, habits, and decisions. Every day gives you another opportunity to practice self-leadership. A meaningful life does not happen by accident. It is created by people who take responsibility for their direction. They understand that personal growth requires effort, awareness, and commitment. Lead yourself with patience. Lead yourself with discipline. Lead yourself with honesty. Continue improving the person you are becoming. When you learn to guide yourself, you gain greater control over your actions, your choices, and your future. You become someone who does not simply react to life, but actively participates in creating it. The ability to lead yourself becomes the foundation for building a stronger, more purposeful, and more successful life. You have reached the end of this audiobook, but this is not the end of your journey. Everything you have heard will only matter if it becomes part of your daily life. A stronger mind is not built by listening once. It is built by practicing the lessons again and again until they become the way you think, decide, and live. Remember this simple truth. Every morning gives you a new chance to take control of your thoughts. Every decision gives you a new chance to choose discipline over distraction. Every challenge gives you a new chance to prove that your mind is stronger than your excuses. Do not try to change your entire life in one day. Choose one lesson from this audiobook and apply it today. Then do it again tomorrow. Small actions repeated every day create the biggest changes over time. Come back to this audiobook whenever your focus becomes weak, your confidence begins to fade, or life feels difficult. Listen again. Learn something new. Apply one more lesson. Each time you return, you will hear ideas that match the person you have become and the challenges you are facing. Always remember the message of this audiobook. Control your mind, and you begin to control your world. Thank you for spending this time with us. Keep learning, keep growing, keep leading yourself. We will be here for the next step of your journey.